Peace, family. This is Lions Den with another news and commentary. Um, Cleveland police officer called Ohio State players the N-word in a text to fellow officers, records say. This article is from Cleveland.com, and I'm going to go ahead and read this article for you. It affected college football players from Ohio State, so this is a very interesting article. I hope you guys will check it out. Let's see what this article says. Now, according to Cleveland.com, a Cleveland police detective used the N-word and another racial epithet when talking about Ohio State football players, and specifically used the word when addressing black quarterbacks, according to a police internal investigation. Detective John Kranick, who works in the predominantly black 4th District, was previously issued a written letter of re-instruction, a lesser penalty than a written reprimand, in order to get sensitivity training as a result of the text messages found during an unrelated internal investigation. Cleveland Police Chief Calvin Williams handed down the discipline at a time when the city is looking to improve relations between a majority white police force and a majority black population. The new details about the context of his use of racial slurs were revealed in the internal affairs investigations files released to Cleveland.com 3 months after the initial request. The investigation into Kranick and other Cleveland police officers disciplined for sending a racist text began as an internal affairs look into accusations that a now retired police officer sexually assaulted a woman. Prosecutors told investigators that there was not enough evidence to pursue criminal charges against that officer who resigned during the investigation. Internal Affairs investigation, however, conducted a search warrant on that officer's phone and found racist texts sent to the officer from both Kranick and the 3rd District patrolman named Aaron Petit, the record says. Cleveland Police Patrolmen's Association filed a federal lawsuit against the police department, saying the city had no right to punish the officers because Kranick and Petit weren't the target of the investigation, that they had sent the text messages on their personal cell phone, and that they have a First Amendment right for free speech. Hear those words again. Continue on. Kranick text about Ohio State football. Kranick sent the text messages during and after 2 Ohio football games in 2016, the nationally televised night game against Wisconsin, and the Buckeye double overtime win against rival Michigan later in the season. During the Wisconsin game, a late come-from-behind overtime win by the number 2 Buckeyes over the number 8 Badgers, Kranick texted all the N-word flash, once again losing out to good old-fashioned hard-nosed football, the investigative file says. The next day, after Ohio prevailed 30-23, Kranick used another racial slur 2 other times when saying he hoped that the near loss will wake up the Ohio State players. The former officer responding by saying maybe they need to throw some more bananas on the practice field. Give me 1 second here. Okay, I'm gonna keep scrolling down. Okay, Kranick respond saying in flashing and another racial slur referring to the officer. He texted the former officer twice during the Ohio State-Michigan game, a back-and-forth game that sent the Buckeyes to the college football playoff semifinals. Effing ends can't play quarterback, he texted. According to the records, Kranick did not specifically mention any players by name, but Ohio State quarterback at the time, J.T. Barrett, is black, and Michigan quarterback for that game, Wilton Spread, is white. 24 minutes later, Kranick texts effing N-words. Kranick sent the text on his personal phone, and while he was off duty, the record says Cleveland Police Patrolmen's Associate Attorney Brian Morality objected to the internal affairs interviewing Kranick, saying he was not the target of the investigation. He also said that the investigators violated Kranick's private rights when they searched his personal cell phone, the record says. Kranick admitted to investigators during the interview that he sent the text messages because he was upset Ohio State was losing. CPPA President Jeff Fallman previously told Cleveland.com that they did not condone the language Cranick used, but believed the investigator was unfair because Cranick was off duty and they were probably conversations between two friends who happened to be fellow officers. Former, when contacted on Friday, said he maintains his position that the racial slurs were wrong to use, but the internal investigation into Cranick and Petit was improper. Meaning of Petit's text challenge. Petit was suspended 6 days without pay in order to attend additional sensitivity training for sending the same former officer racial slur in a text message. The former officer on April 27, 2017 texted Petit that Middle Eastern types were causing problems at the Hustler Club strip club in the Flats and asked Petit to come down there while he was on duty. Petit replied using a racist term for Muslims, and saying that he had no problem fighting them according to the records. Morality made the same objection to the interview with the Internal Affairs as he did with Crane, the record says. Petit says during the interview that he sent the text messages that he never went to the strip club in the Flat that day. Petit says that he learned the term when he was serving in the army in Iraq and Afghanistan because it also is a term used for Muslims who make a pilgrimage to Mecca. Okay, the record says. The Internal Affairs Detective Todd Clark, however, wrote in the records that research showed that term is used as racial slur. Petit said that during the interview that the text message was big, tough guy talk between two guys that made him sound like an idiot, according to the records. Petit also was disciplined for separating incidents, including using excessive force in October in downtown Cleveland, even though it was avoidable. He was also disciplined for failing to cover up tattoos on his arm while on duty. Petit's attorney, Jared Klebanow, said that he is researching the case and may file a federal lawsuit against the city. He says he believed that Petit learned the term while serving in the military and didn't mean it as derogatory. Klebanow said the city did not discipline him for the content of the word, just the use of the word itself. He said they are looking into possible 14th Amendment violations of Petit's rights to due process. We think the city jumped to conclusions without doing its due diligence, Klebanow said. The city made the choice to issue punishment for the word and not the content of the word. The content of the word is not an issue because the city chose not to make it an issue. Klebanow, who is representing Petit and the police union along with attorney Avery Friedman, also says he took issue with Petit being disciplined for several but separate incidents without explanation as how to many days he was suspended for each separate violation. We're in the dark as to what punishment was for what violation, Klebanow says. Cleveland City Councilman Bashir Jones, the city's first Muslim councilman whose Ward 7, including the 3rd District, said he was saddened those terms are still used in 2018 in Cleveland. He said the term is used to describe Muslims who make a religious pilgrimage, but in the context of how Petit used the word was hurtful. Jones, a member of the council's safety committee, said he intends on addressing the issue with Williams. As a Muslim, it hurts me, Jones said. I intend on asking what do we do when officers use that type of language, not just against Islam, but anti-Jewish or anti-gay sentiment or any other kind of language like that. It's unfortunate. So that's basically it. As you notice that, of course, the police union trying to defend these two officers for making this statement, for making a racist text messages against, college football quarterback of Ohio State, which is indeed black. But they were saying that he admitted it, but he was upset that I believe the game lost. But the thing of it is that now they say there's a violation of their free speech, of the 14th Amendment. But it's funny that, when everybody else use the same term, the freedom of speech, it basically affects In other words, effectively, when it's not affecting anybody else, it only affects them. But when everybody else uses their free speech, they get judged by it. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, that in this story, it shows that even though the internal vets are investigating it, they're gonna let this officer go because they said it's free speech. He was off duty when he sent that text message, so it's nothing a person can do. But as I say, you use your words. Sometimes when you use those words, it comes back to haunt you. And in this case, it comes back to haunt them. But at the same time, they probably, you know what? At the end of the day, these officers are gonna keep their jobs, even though they may. At the end of the day, they will keep their jobs, and because again, it's like I said, it's in their mind is free speech, and they basically gonna let them go. They're gonna sweep them under the rug. Well, let me know what you think about this article. Share this article. Subscribe my YouTube channel. Subscribe my reaction channel. And subscribe my Black Johnson channel for more news and commentary. With that being said, it's Lions Den signing off. Deuces.